So let's talk about switch cases today on Perry University. We're going to do a very simple thing today. We're going to make a very basic calculator with a new thing called switch cases in our C++ lessons. How do we go from having our variable x, let's just say it's an integer, we'll call it 4, and we want to do some math function like times it by y, which is 3, and we get x times y equals 12. Well, we're going to learn how to do that right now with switch cases. So what's your code going to look like? Well, first you have to call the switch. And you're going to have some parentheses with your variable inside of it, and now you're going to contain the switch statements within some brackets. And switches are going to be made up of different cases. So you have case number 1, and whatever type of variable you're using is what the case name is going to be. It's usually a number or a letter. So if your variable could be 1, 2, 3, 4, then you'd have case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, etc. After you say what case it is, you're going to have colon and then a function. Then you have to do break so it knows to stop. And at the end, you'll have a default just in case whatever input you have doesn't match any of the switch case options. You'll have a default function, break, finish off with your curly bracket, and you're done. Now your variable, it has to be a constant. It's usually a number or a letter, but it can be any character if you convert it. So now, before we write some code, let's talk about what we want to do. We want to make a simple calculator that just adds, subtracts, multiplies, and divides just basic integers x and y. And that's really about it. So the first thing we got to do, and this is going to be a great example of just how switch cases work, and it'll be your first kind of actual project if you're following along with these videos. So the first thing we want to do, let's get an integer called x. All right, so we'll see out, we're going to ask the user to enter x. Or we'll get the users to do x equals, then we'll cin x. And we need y, so do int y, cout, y equals, and we'll cin y. And one thing that's really smart, this is particularly beneficial when you start writing larger code. Stop and make sure stuff works as you go, please. It's always good. So like we have x equals 4, y equals 5. Okay, we're collecting variables. That's all I want to do. Lovely. But we also need our cases. So what's going to be entered? We're going to prompt the user to enter a number, which is going to correlate to whatever math function we want, such as the plus or the minus. So I already kind of did that. I'm going to do cout. I'll just spare you from watching me type all this out. Enter 1 for plus, enter 2 for minus, enter 3 for multiplication, enter 4 for division. But that number that's entered, it's going to be a variable. So we're going to call that int math operator, and we need a cin math operator. Okay? So now we'll have x stored as x, y stored as y, and we'll have our math operation stored. So we got all three things we need. Now, let's make a switch case. Switch, so we're going to go ahead and call the switch function, and we're going to have math operator be the thing that it uses. It's constant that's going to use to compare the various cases, that is. So case 1, case 1 colon cout, we'll do x plus y equals x plus y. And L, and you have to do break, or else you're going to get what's called a fall through. We'll go over that in a bit. Case 2, cout x minus y equals x minus y. Pretty simple. Pretty obvious pattern happening here. Break. Please make sure to break. Case 3. Let's do some multiplication. Cout x times y equals x times y. And L and break. Case 4. Cout x divided by y equals x divided by y, and L and break. Now before we move on to our default case, let's notice something about this division, because these are whole integers and it's only going to output a whole number because everything is as an int. So Let's make it to where we can actually divide and maybe get a decimal. Static cast, float, x divided by y. All right, now we'll do our default, which means they didn't enter 1, 2, 3, or 4. No big deal. Cout. I'm going to just say, please choose 1 through 4, you rebel. End L and break. Done. Control save. Let's pull this thing up. See if this works. Oh, compiled on the first go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, x equals 5, y equals, say 4. You know what? Let's enter 4 for division. 1.25. Works perfectly. Static cast worked without problem. Click the link in the top right corner and just to see how static cast works, just in case you never worked with it before. But now, let's say instead of entering 1, 2, 3, or 4, what if you just want to enter the math function itself without all this extra stuff here? So, what if we did this? Enter plus, minus, multiply, or divide. So obviously, whoops, I need to break that. There we go. Obviously, our math operator now is not going to be an integer, it's going to be a character. So character, case 1 will be plus, case 2 will be minus, case 3 will be multiply, case 4 will be divide. We'll say elementary math only. So now what's going to happen? Kind of spoiler alert, it's not going to compile. So what happened here? So with these special characters, switch cases don't work. But if you put them in quotations, they'll work. I'm going to spare you watching me put all these in quotations. All right, now we'll control save. Ooh, that was a doozy. Let's compile it. Oh yeah, that works now. Let's run it. All right, what's x equal? I don't know, let's go with 99. Y equals 23. Plus. X plus y equals 122. Look at that. Now let's make it even more natural to where we don't enter a number, then an operator. So let's even take this, control, copy, paste. Now the order of things will be a little bit more like a natural calculator. So x equals, just say 8 divided by 5 of 1.6. Awesome. But we can make it look even a little bit better instead of having those jumbled operators like that. Let's comment out this cout. And I think this is going to make it look just a bit more natural. And this is how you can just kind of play around with things. So we'll control save. All right, x equals 77. And then we'll multiply that by 5. 385. You now have a very simple, basic working calculator. But what if something happened and you forgot to put break on case 1? What's going to happen? So now your switch statement is going to take in the operator. It's going to say, if you type in plus, it's going to say, oh, case plus. Okay, cout x plus y equals x plus y end L. Oop, let's go down to case minus. All right, cout x minus y equals x minus y end L. Break. Now stop. As I'll demonstrate. So let's do x equals 50. I'm going to do plus y equals 40. Now you got both. But one good thing is if you wanted to, you could just, I guess, get all the math functions at once. But here's what's kind of interesting. If I comment out all the breaks, we're even going to get the default of, hey, this is for elementary math only. No trigonometry here. So let's control save. And now it's going to start wherever it finds its first match of your math operator. So x equals 5. Let's say x equals 5, I accidentally did a space. We'll do minus y equals 7. It starts with a minus, and it gives you all those values plus elementary math only. So that's just how breakthrough works. Just wanted to kind of point that out. That's something that's very important and a very common mistake when learning switch cases. But now, at the very least, you have a very, very simple elementary calculator, and you know how switch cases work. So with that, I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time.